it's a little sad sometimes to think, well, how much money could I be making if I wasn't in school? And if I was saving this money for something else, for a place of my own, to just be on my own. I'm basically paying rent, you guys. Which is a little bit sad because comparison is the thief of joy, and that's exactly what it's doing for me. Because I am comparing my education to, say, rent somewhere. If I weren't paying for school, I could have this, and if I weren't doing this, I could be doing this. And that is what's been overwhelming me a lot lately. Because then I think, oh, is it really gonna pay off once I'm thousands of dollars in debt? And what's been overwhelming me, maybe the most actually, surprisingly, is the fact that I will never really be out on my own until I am at least a year out of college. I won't have the money yet, a year out of college, to just either have an apartment with my sister or with someone else. Because as a young adult, what can be maybe the most overwhelming is never really feeling like you have space of your own, to have full tranquility, to have full to allow your body the same peace that your mind should have. Because one day I would like to have my own space, where as soon as I feel something, I can just let it happen. And I think that's a lot of why I've been overwhelmed this week. Because I'm dealing with the very, very human experience of just being a young adult and just not knowing yet how to navigate everything and feel everything. And I don't know how to respond in some ways to my family, because even now I still find myself, when I am overwhelmed with school, I don't know how to say that. They ask me how my day is at school. Immediately what comes to mind is anger. Anger. A lot of bitterness and anger for some reason. It's conflicting with what I would like to do versus what I actually feel like doing, because I don't want to be bitter towards my family, but you just feel it. And you feel it boil, and you feel it boil over until one day you say something snippy. And then you feel awful. I have been battling with anger lately, in the sense that my sister will ask me, how was your day at school? And in my head, I immediately get angry and say something in my head, not to her. I say, why would you ask me that if you already see me and I already look like I'm in a bad mood? Why would you ask me that if you're not expecting me to give you a detail? What kind of answer can I give to that? What, am I just going to tell you it was fine? That's what goes on in my head. I get angry. Because the day of school wasn't fine. I wasn't happy at school. But I'm just going to give you fine to give you an answer that'll satiate you, even though my tone is already sassy. I'm being very sassy with her when I say it. especially as a commuter, to make friends. Now I do have friends at that school. Like 3. But it's very likely that they'll transfer. It's very, very likely that they'll transfer. They've talked about it. I think my whole first year of college, I kind of had a friend that was built out of necessity, as in the same experience you have in kindergarten when you see the first girl or the first boy and you go, do you want to be friends? That was kind of what it was like for me. And that's actually okay. I don't ever think that those are bad friendships, because sometimes they kind of have to happen. Sometimes you need that feeling of safety, and then you both learn, oh, maybe we are fit for other people, and you amicably experience that growth apart. And I was totally okay with that. The girls that I know there now, I love them. They're wonderful. They're sweethearts. But I'm just a little bit sad that my college also has the feel in the way that they run their classes as high school. Oh my gosh, does it frustrate me? I want to say a bad word right now. They have a policy about attendance, and yes, it's all for good work ethic. It is, it truly is. You know, attendance, be there, do the things. But the workload sometimes is like every day you're getting homework of some kind, and it's like the most extra, like busy work feeling assignment, and you're like, do I really gotta do this? No, we're not saying that. But you just question. It's like, are you serious right now? Do you not realize we've got jobs, we've got stuff to do? But the problem with my campus is that most of the students there have on-campus jobs, and guess what they get paid? I think it's $7 an hour. Not even minimum wage, because it's a private school. So they don't have to pay you minimum wage. Most of the people there, many of the people there, either have sports student, huh? No. 4.0 student, aka all you did was focus on schoolwork and not on internships and not on experiences in real life. Tangible things. That might be what people see more. That might be, the title means nothing. It really doesn't. I have to show something, and needing to have that academic validation is going to hold me back. So I'm going to change that. This year or another. I'll change that. I hope. I think a lot of that was really just to say I've been overwhelmed, but that's okay, because maybe I'm gonna be overwhelmed next week and the week after that, and maybe I'm gonna burn myself out. I say that and everyone gasps. Haley, don't say that. It wouldn't be the first time. But sometimes taking myself to just breaking down is what I need to learn, to give myself a moment to breathe. Sometimes realizing that I've sacrificed quality over quantity in my life is what it takes to fix it. Sometimes breaking down in your car and then wanting to curl up next to your mother is what it takes to realize that you've been hiding more than you realized. That you've been holding in more than you should. And that maybe there's been a little bit more on your heart than was apparent before. Sometimes it just takes hitting rock bottom to really understand how to do it different next time. Because no one in my entire life has ever told me a piece of advice and then it's applied exactly the way that they say it. I literally have to. Oh my gosh, I have to live it. I have to be there. I have to know it. I have to learn it and see it, feel it. I have to feel it so deep in my bones that I'm bawling my eyes out. I have to experience it to learn. I need to feel it. I need to do it, and to know that I can build away from the pain that I end up causing when I take myself too far somewhere. Otherwise, my ambitious mind will always say, well, you can always push a little further. Maybe a little further, maybe a little further. Because there's always going to be the unknown of whether or not I will feel burned. So until I finally get there and I finally get to that point of no return, then I'm like, oh, let me never push myself this far again. Let me breathe. Let me relax my shoulders. Let me take a breath again. And let me do it different this time. That is the only way I can learn. That's the only way I can navigate being overwhelmed, is to just do something different each time. I've just been overthinking. Everything has been on my mind all at once because I'm starting a new transition in my life, doing something fresh this year, school year fresh again. And it's a lot. It's a lot. But, spoiler, everything is actually gonna be okay. of them are going to be bad, then you are going to completely miss any sense of, oh, finally something that has made my heart feel okay. Because you're always going to be looking out for the next bad thing to happen. You're always going to be looking out for the next mistake you're going to make, the next wrong move. You'll always be looking out for everything to be against you. And I used to be like that, but I'm sick of it. Stop looking for reasons for the world to be against you. Stop looking for reasons for people to be making faces at you. Stop looking for reasons to assume that everyone thinks something of you, because that in itself is judgment. To assume that someone is believing something of you just because you think you can read their facial expression, or you think you can read the type of person they are, if they're a mean girl, if they're a super pop or super naive or super egotistical man. Who are you to say that that is who they are? Stop looking for reasons to think that every little inconvenience is what makes it a bad life. If you just stop looking at everything that's happening to you and maybe look around just a little bit, it feels a lot less like everything bad is happening to just us, and a lot more like we're just doing this life for the first time. And it's not going to be a linear process of, oh, I made it here. Next I get this job. Next I get this house. Next I get this partner. We often have these occurrences that always make us think, well, why me? And it's not wrong to think that, because it is so human to do so. I do it all the time. Why me? But it's not just you. And say it is you. Say it does feel like everything wrong is happening to you. You're allowed to sit, and you're allowed to feel some sorrow. You're allowed to even rot for a bit. You're allowed to pity yourself. But one day you're gonna have to get back up. One day you're gonna have to stop letting yourself be consumed by bitterness. Now, that's not to say that things like grief will just stop. Things like anger will just stop, because they won't. But each day, it might get a little easier. And now you might say, well, what if they don't? What if they do? What if they do? Because you can go your whole life. You don't have to listen to a single thing I'm saying. You can go your whole life thinking, oh, what if they go wrong? That's your choice. Should I give